Hey, Brian Young here. We're back. Today's video series is on structuring your Amazon business from a legal perspective. So you're very serious about selling things online, reselling books for profit, and you want to structure your business in a way that's most efficient and legal. Well, I'm going to go through some of the options that you have out there at your disposal, and we'll kind of go over the pros and cons of what you can select to be the appropriate business entity or structure for your online sales company. So according to SBA, the Small Business Administration government website, these are the different kinds of business structures that you could adhere to for your business. There's a sole proprietorship, the limited liability company or LLC. There's a corporation, partnership, and then an S corporation. And so we're going to really quickly go through most of these. We're going to skip partnership. Don't really feel like partnership is very applicable to online sales and marketing, but we'll look at the other four and I'll kind of give you my opinion on them, but also just run through like the ins and outs of each of these business structures. And then you can kind of just take all the information provided in this presentation and choose which structure you'd like to build your business around. Ultimately, if you're really serious about selling online, you're more likely to be a success. And what I mean by that is if you just approach online selling kind of willy-nilly and you just throw caution to the wind and you send a bunch of books in and you're super excited when they sell, but you don't take your business seriously and you don't structure things seriously, it's probably never going to be more than just a hobby. Now, there's a lot of people out there that just sell things online every once in a while. Maybe for a while they're really fired up and excited, but then they get busy and they kind of get sidetracked. Or maybe the profits roll in, but because they don't have a good structure in place, they're not able to funnel it. They're not able to organize the profits and the losses that they experience running an online sales company. So I really feel like it's really important from the ground up, whether you're a new or mildly experienced seller, to really think about some of the structures that are out there and make sure you align yourself with some and set some goals and look to build your business professionally. As soon as you start taking your online selling company seriously, that's when you're setting yourself up for the potential to really do big things. So let's take a look at the first one. But before we do that, I just want to throw this disclaimer out there again like I did in a previous video. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a tax professional. Like literally everything that you're going to read in here is my opinion, and that's it. And I want you to listen to it and learn from it as such. I don't want you thinking that I'm giving you some solid legal advice here, because my advice might not be any good. But I do want to share with you my experience and what I've learned over the years and kind of what we do for our online sales company. But then I want you to take that information and keep it in mind, but then also do your own research and then go connect with some people that are truly professionals. And again, like as I allude to and I mention over and over again in this presentation, state by state has every county has different regulations. So what might be true for me and might be a best business model for me, a best business structure for me, may not be for you in your area and with your particular business model. So just keep that in mind. Find it's a fantastic investment. It's a necessary investment. It really just puts the persona of I'm going to make a professional company over the top of your business. If you say I'm going to spend a little bit of money, I'm going to invest in my business, I'm going to talk to a CPA or a lawyer or a tax professional, and I'm going to really get this thing going because we're serious. You're communicating not only yourself subliminally, but to other people that you're serious about selling things on Amazon. It's not just a hobby for you. And that's really going to springboard your business into success, I feel. So sole proprietorships, maybe you've heard this term before. It's the most basic type of business to establish. And essentially, you alone own the company and assume all the responsibilities. There's no distinction between you and your business. So there's no part where your business stops and your personal finances begin. It's all blended together. And in all actuality, it's automatic. If you are selling anything on Amazon, if you are selling any other products or services, the government sees you as a sole proprietor. And your business ID's number is your social security number. So there you have it. And now, if you want to legitimize your sole proprietorship, or you want to create a more professional persona, or kind of separate it from you just a little bit, you can register for a DBA or doing business as. So you could choose the name of your company, Discount Books or whatever, and set up a DBA, and what you do is you file that DBA with a local legal newspaper. They'll publish your name. They'll say Brian Young is doing business as whatever your name of your company is, and then it's on the record. That way, if anybody wants to know, hey, I really want to get in contact with Discount Books, they can do a Google search, they can look through the legal records, and they can find that your name is connected to that company with your contact information. Also, a DBA is really important if you're going to set up a checking account, like a bank account with your company name on it. Unless you want all your checks to be written out to Brian Young and from Brian Young or whatever your name is, if you want it to be your business, if you want to come across a little more professionally, maybe you're dealing with wholesale companies or something. Maybe you're ordering books in bulk, and you don't want it to be paid to the order Brian Young on it. You want to have a business name on there. You can do that. You just have to go through the DBA process. So as far as taxes are concerned, you fill out a couple forms, a Schedule C and the standard 1040 form, but then the bottom amount, so it's positive or negative, that just transfers right to your personal tax return. So if your company makes, let's say, $10,000, you'll take that $10,000 and you'll transfer it, and it becomes earned income on your personal tax return statements. If it's a negative number, maybe a lot of businesses don't make a lot of money within the first couple of years. In fact, I think it's 3. With Amazon selling, it's different. I really feel like you jump in, you're going to start making money within the first couple months. You're going to be out of the red and into the black. But regardless, if it is in the red, you would transfer that red over, and so that would deduct against your whatever other sources of income that you're earning money from. But they're intrinsically connected. There's no separation. Now, the advantages of a sole proprietorship is it's easy and inexpensive to form. Costs are minimal. I think I spent like $40 to set up my sole proprietorship in the state of Minnesota. Very easy to set up. You just fill out a few forms. You're just telling the government, who's obviously very interested in what you're doing. If you're making any money, they want to know. You're telling them like where your business is, what kind of business you're in, address, contact information, that sort of thing. That's it. Another advantage, a big advantage of a sole proprietorship, is you have complete control. You are in complete control. You don't need to have board meetings. You don't need to have elections. You don't need to have votes. There's no shareholders. You don't need to hire consultations. You make the decision. You want to do something, you do it because you're in control. And then, like I said, tax preparation is really easy. I mean, we still operate under a sole proprietorship, and we're able to do TurboTax at home with our own tax information, other sources of income and expenses, and the child care tax and homeowners and all that kind of stuff. And then we just roll in our profits from our business directly into our personal tax returns. So some good advantages. Again, it's easy to set up, easy. You retain full control, and it's easy to go through taxes at the end of the year. Now, the disadvantages of a sole proprietorship is, there's unlimited personal liability. Because there's no legal separation between you and your business, you're personally liable for debts and obligations. So if your business just fails and goes bankrupt, or maybe you can't make due on some of the financial promises you made, your personal assets are liable. Okay, literally, like if you were, let's say you were to start, I know we're talking book sales, so we don't really have to worry about this as far as the book seller is concerned. But if you come out with a private label product and somebody brings you to court, there's some litigation over it, they can go after your personal assets as a form of settlement. Whereas if you had a separate business entity like a corporation, the company could be squashed, but your personal assets would be protected. So there is a little bit of risk there, but again, the benefit of selling books is it's paper with a binding. Okay, there's not a lot of risk that the customer is going to be suing you. There's not a lot of risk, and because if you run your business the way that I recommend, you're not going to be incurring a lot of debt to do so. You're going to be making money, rolling those profits back into new inventory, and so all of a sudden, if all your supply lines dry up or all your sales stop, yeah, it'll be inconvenient. But you have a debt-free business, and you don't have to worry about that debt trickling down into your personal assets. It's hard to raise money. Again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but people have come up to me before and been like, "Hey, Brian, I think your business is fascinating. I see that it's growing like 3-4x every year, which is pretty incredible. I would like to invest some money into it. How would that look?" And there's really no good structure for that. But if I needed to raise money, it would be even harder because you can't sell stocks. Banks are really hesitant to lend to sole proprietorships. It's just because there's so many of them out there and so many businesses start and fail. Banks really want to see some stability before they put any money into it. There's just too much liability, too much uncertainty with a sole proprietorship, typically. Not always the case. Also, it is a heavy burden because you are solely responsible for the success of your business. It's all on your shoulders. So you want your business to succeed. Guess what? You're the master of your own fate. If it fails, it's your fault. You don't have a whole team of people, is what I'm trying to say. There's not a whole company or an organization that you've built up that can all be pushing the company in the right direction. So I think a sole proprietorship is the best option for new online selling businesses. If you're just beginning an online sales company and you don't have another business and you're just planning on going to thrift stores and book sales and maybe even buying books in bulk and reselling them online for a profit, start with a sole proprietorship. Go through the process. You can set up the DBA. You can do something. You can get yourself a tax ID number, like a reseller's permit or certificate, like they say in some states. That way you can buy your books tax-free because you're not reading them. They're going to be sent off and sold to the end user on Amazon. They'll be required to pay sales tax for that. It's just simple. And then if you decide to, if you decide book selling is not for you down the road, I really hope that's not the case. But if you do, it's really easy to start a sole proprietorship. It's really easy to end as well.